Okay, welcome. We are here for our class tonight, and I am super excited. Um, Guys, this is so much fun when we come together and have some great information to share with you. And this is one of our regular classes. So we are excited. By way of a few disclaimers, first off, I'm Jared Jarvis. I'm here today with Roman Broma and Leanne Mason, and we are not doctors. We are not here to diagnose or prescribe. We are sharing things that are, well, from experience. And we hope that you enjoy this class as much as we enjoy teaching it.
Awesome. Along with not being doctors and not being able to diagnose and treat, we are not therapists. And if you truly do have an addiction that you need additional support, please seek out whether it be addiction recovery or the right therapist to support you. Addictions can range from behaviors to actual substances. And those substances are not always bad if in moderation. So, we're going to talk a little bit about addiction as a whole and how you can use different natural solutions to support. Um, I'm not going to say recovery because generally, if there is something that there is an addiction, then there's a compulsion around it or a draw to it. But you can be, for lack of a better word, sober or in control of that addiction. So, addiction, whether it's a substance or a behavior, actually alters the chemistry of the brain and rewires our reward system to crave the hit of dopamine and the other feel good chemicals that take place when you're using your said addiction, whether it is gaming, scrolling on social media, sugar. Um, some people are addicted to exercise, even. Now, most of the things that people are addicted to, they don't even realize they're addicted to it, but they repeatedly expose themselves to it to stimulate the pleasure centers.
I
So
want to
when you,
add I want to add in one more. We can be addicted to negative thought processes. People don't
yeah,
think about that.
that's so true. Like that's a behavior, right? Is those negative thought processes. And so I'm going to drop the links to the two blogs that we did and I love working with Ronay to create the classes and because each time we each get different inspiration on what we need to kind of focus on. I recently took a class in my college courses on um, drugs of use and abuse. And I kind of, at first, I thought, okay, this is interesting. They had each of us pick one area that we felt like we had an addiction to. And we had to actually journal and log and do some of the things that I put um, in my blog as some steps to kind of help. So, as we're looking at this, I want you to consider one area that you might have an addiction is in. Are you addicted to compulsively scrolling to distract yourself? Like Rone said, are you addicted to negative thoughts or to television? I mean, many of us have a good binge watch now and again, but if you can't do other things because you're drawn so much to it, that's when it becomes an addiction. Are you addicted to caffeine or sugar or food in general? Are you addicted to other chemicals, alcohol, tobacco, illicit drugs? And we're not going to talk a lot about the heavy things. But I just wanted to go over a few. And Rone, I can't remember if you have in your blog oils that can help as well. First, I wanted to go over, and I'm gonna have Rone take this part, is rebuilding your system with proper nutrition because our dopamine and serotonin, that kind of stuff happens in our gut.
Yeah. One of the things that I am very passionate about is building your foundation. And the first foundational build is your lifelong vitality pack or your VMG. Oh, I forgot VMG in this. Oh well, we'll have to add that in next time. For so long it was just lifelong vitality, and you have to have that for cellular health, for brain function, for energy without the synthetics, because it is a whole food nutrient. Same with the VMG, which is vitamins, minerals, and greens all mixed together. And that is actually like my foundation. My son, who has a suppressed immune system, still uses lifelong vitality because that is what supports his system better. So you have to kind of figure out which one's going to support your system better, but that's our starting point. You also need a really good probiotic. And we have PB Assist and we have PB Restore. If your gut health isn't right, your body cannot produce serotonin. Like 80% of your serotonin is produced in your belly. So it's super, super important that your gut health is right. Uh, Collagen, um, especially as we start to age. So about age 24, our body stops producing as much collagen it as like our optimal amount, and we start producing less and less. This is why we start getting aches and pains. I just saw a reel the other day, and it was somebody like, welcome to your 50s. Here are your like entrance things. Yes, it hurts when you sleep. You're going to wake up and you're going to feel like you were run over by a truck. It's just something that happens. Guess what? It doesn't have to happen. We're told these things because our body stops producing certain things and we typically don't put them back in. So MetaPower Advantage is one of those amazing things. It can help stabilize those emotional highs and lows that the body feels. Um, Adaptive. You guys, the adaptive system, and I just in the blog, you can only put so much. Like this blog was so much longer than my normal ones, and there's still so much I didn't put in there. That's why you come to the classes, right? But the MetaPower I'm sorry, the Advantage system. So you've got the oil that you can put in the diffuser. You can put on topically, you can smell aromatically. It's great. But what I do with this is I put it in the diffuser. I like to add a little Litzy or a little tangerine, just because for me, I am definitely a citrus girl. So adding a little lime, like the aroma is amazing. And what happens when we are using essential oils aromatically, again, this is foundational. When you're using it aromatically, it helps because it works with your amygdala. Your amygdala is your emotional center. Fastest way to the amygdala is through the olfactory senses. You breathe it in, goes to your amygdala, down your pituitary, your thyroid, your parathyroid, your hypothalamus, and the whole limbic system goes. And that is when your body is able to do what it's supposed to do. It stops kicking out cortisol. It starts helping your body. There is an amazing 27-minute video that I'm dropping into the chat that's by Laura Jacobs. She is phenomenal, and she talks about how aromatherapy works and how we are in just this cycle. And this is one of my favorite. It's an older video, but it is one of my favorites to show people because it is just so educational. So make
So
sure you
one
check
thing
out.
I want you to also talk about, because I actually was kind of surprised you didn't put this one in your blog when I looked at it today, was the combination of using adaptive with serenity. Because especially when you are dealing with an addictive behavior, there's a lot of squirrel brain or intrusive thoughts that are happening as you are trying to back off from something that you're truly drawn to. So during the 30 days, I chose to not distract myself with my phone. I had not even realized how much I was picking up, checking email, checking just social media. Anytime there was silence, I was picking up my phone. And then I had to become aware. of that because I had to journal my experience every day. What was your triggers? Silence. Silence was a trigger, right? And so to help me with the squirrel thinking and that over processing when I was reaching for my phone, I used adaptive and serenity together.
Yeah. Noise addiction. I definitely have a noise addiction. I grew up in a home where there was a TV on in every room all the time. And it's just that was normal. And so noise addiction for me is a thing because the squirrel brain that's happening, the noise helps to cancel it out, but that also stops us from being able to be mindful, from being able to just quietly sit with our thoughts and go, oh, this is, or quietly sit and be able to hear God, right? So often we're not doing that. And so, adaptive and serenity, when my daughter had her first son, he's 4.5 now, but when she had him, almost immediately, like the postpartum was so bad, and she had really awful intrusive thoughts. And I share this with her permission. But she called and she's like, Mom, I just like I need to get in and I can't get in for a month. And because she was asking me what to do, I said, well, get into a therapist. And she's like, I can't even get in for a month. And I said, okay, I want you to try this. Try using adaptive soft gels and serenity soft gels. So adaptive add like gives you the GABA that you need so that your neurotransmitters are speaking to each other. And then this serenity soft gels help quiet everything. And oh, there was something else about it that just
The lavender that's in the serenity, there's tons of studies on how lavender supports anxious feelings and calming that mind.
yes, and there's a specific amount that's needed, and that's actually what's in each of the soft gels. But also the tart cherry helps, and I'm drawing a blank on why the tart cherry helps. I'll come back to it. It'll come to me. But the two of them together helped to quiet her intrusive thoughts. And if you've never had intrusive thoughts, like if you're like, what is that? It's those thoughts that creep in. And for her, it was the danger that was going to happen, the irrational danger that would happen uh, if she couldn't like physically see someone or, and there's lots of other things. But she started and she said almost immediately she could hear that quiet. And then just like nutrition, so all these are, just so you know, essential oils, these supplements are nutrition for your body. And when your body's nutritionally fed, your body heals itself. But just like nutrition, your body metabolizes it. So she could feel when her body had metabolized it because the thoughts would start to creep back in. And so she would take one of each again. And she called me about a week later and she says, Mom, I need you to tell every postpartum woman. And then she changed it to like anyone who's dealing with intrusive thoughts. But when you're in that postpartum state, she's like, they need to know about this because it was almost instantaneously, like after she'd take them within a half hour, she could think clearly and just felt good and would last for hours. And then she would just take a couple more. So when she had her second son, right away she was taking them. And her third, same thing. Like she had the process down, so she didn't have to deal with the baby blues, right? So yes, those are the two people that are two people. Those are the two soft gels that are foundational for people who are looking for that mental stability to be able to quiet those thoughts, to be able to sit in the quiet, right?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to see if it will let me share my split screen because I just want to kind of go over, like, because Rone and I love doing this, and you can just see what I want to show you is the fact that it's not a one size fits all, but there are lots of different ways that you can use these essential oils to support addiction. It's not going to let me do it. Okay, we're just going to go one and then we'll go the other because um, so Rone took the approach of, here we go. There we go. Are you guys seeing Rone's blog?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Essential oils for cravings and triggers and emotional healing. And I love this.
Okay.
So,
Can I explain why?
yes.
Because you write about what you know. I
Ah,
have a food addiction. I have a sugar addiction. I have a TV addiction. And like it's just what it is, right? I have been blessed to not have like major substance addictions, but I know people who have and I've been able to help them. But that's why I started there.
perfect. So she just adds the grounding blend on her feet, citrus bliss, frankincense, black spruce, and Siberian fir. You guys, Siberian fir, especially if addiction is generational, that helps support that generational piece of the addiction. And I love that.
And the
The
black spruce just smells amazing.
Yes, it truly
So good.
does. Um, the Zendocrine detoxification blend, that's another one that there is a complete system. There's the oil, there is the complex, and there is the soft gel. And so, especially that's supportive of liver and kidneys and that system that helps flush out. And so, there's a really good 30-day cleanse and restore that you can do with either the BMG or the Lifelike Mortality vitamins, which, if you are going through a withdrawal, this can help reset your body. So, if that's something you're interested in, please get with one of us because I like to go through with people and talk to them a little bit and customize. Too often, you're not completely ready to do a cleanse and restore. You need to do a 2 week prep where you're getting good pre and probiotics and the lemon in your water and the Terrazyme to prepare your body because you don't want to be detoxing from a substance or sugar or and then take your body through a cleanse and restore and just you can send your body too fast. So, especially if you're going to use a cleanse and restore to support detoxing, we want to help you do it more gentle than what is the protocol given out by the actual cleanse and restore kit. So that's the caveat there. Okay, I'm going to switch over to mine. So I kind of took it from a different perspective because of clients that I've worked with and some of my own dealing with. Again, I also struggle with food addictions. When I am struggling with my mental health, food is comfort. And, but I've also used it as punishment to withdraw when I'm struggling. And so you can have it be both ways, right? But here are some of the products that work to support as you are trying to work through tobacco or nicotine addiction is black pepper is super good. And if you don't like the smell, putting it on the bottoms of the feet is super beneficial. Now, a few of these are not always essential oils. This is from the addiction recovery website, Avenues Recovery. And so some of these oils are not always ones that doTERRA has. I don't
Oh,
even know what the Angelica is.
but you forgot the okay, sorry. There's the one of the best ones for tobacco or nicotine is cinnamon. So cinnamon oil, like a drop on the tongue, and you have them get a cinnamon stick. So a cinnamon stick is about the same size of a cigarette, so they have something to fiddle with, something to play with. Because so often that's part of the addiction also is having, and they can suck on a cinnamon stick or whatever, but the next time they go to smoke, that like will be the worst tasting cigarette they've ever had. I've done this with several people, and I had one person they said they wanted to quit, and so I was like, here, try this. Then went out, like waited as long as they could, went and smoked a cigarette, came back in almost immediately, and they're like, I didn't want to quit today.
I did not know that one, so that's awesome.
Yeah, cinnamon. And then, like I said, make sure you tell them to get a cinnamon stick.
That's awesome. And then sweet orange, which is our wild orange, is phenomenal. And then the Roman chamomile. So withdrawing from alcohol, ginger, lemon, lavender, black pepper. Um, so, And I will tell you, it's a little bit interesting the first time you do it, but you do get used to it. Making a tea, um, warm tea with a combination of citrus, and I do 3 to 4 drops of a citrus, 1 drop of ginger, and 1 drop of fennel, and 1 toothpick swirl of black pepper, because you do not want um, a full drop of black pepper. I will tell you that. People who like the chamomile tea, you can also do a drop of the Roman chamomile, and that can be something can help with some of those withdrawals, or simply putting the ones that are rated for internal ingestion. Again, I'm going to get the caveat we always do in these classes. If you can use these oils internally, doTERRA makes it super easy by putting supplemental nutrition facts on the bottle. If it is not doTERRA, do not use it internally. Use it topically and aromatic only. So grapefruit is super good for sugar cravings.
Well,
Um,
can I add in here? Grapefruit is also amazing for alcohol withdrawal because alcohol turns to sugar in your body.
yes.
So that's one I would add into the alcohol withdrawal as well.
The other thing I totally forgot to add, but I totally love it, the MetaPower gum. The MetaPower gum is super good for appetite control and some of these cravings from all of them, because, you know, whether it's tobacco, alcohol, food, those things, a lot of them are oral, right? There's the oral sensation with it. So chewing gum can help that. And the MetaPower blend is super good because it does have those oils that support addiction in them. So that's a super good thing. It has cinnamon in it. It has the orange in it. So when it comes to mood, anxiety regulation, bergamot, lavender, lemon. But I went a little bit farther in mine with behavior addiction. So adaptive helps with self-control. Bergamot helps with self-control. Spanish sage, MetaPower, pink pepper, manuka, the beautiful blend, which I love, 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 the beautiful body mist, right?
Yes.
HD clear, which was surprising to me, but it can support self-control, which is super interesting that that's the face care for those teenage years, right? Um, Distractions. And I know that Rone, I cannot use my Intune when Rone's around because it has patchouli. But Intune is the focus blend before Adaptive existed. And Intune truly helped me with the desire, which I found super interesting. The desire that was there to distract myself by the phone. Sometimes you don't even know it's there until you try to cut it out, right? Some of the other ones, Northern Escape, Guacwood, Litzy, Balance. And right now, you guys, is one of the only times, this is the time of year to get your hands on the harvest spice. So putting those in a diffuser can help with distractions, to enhance restful moments. Sometimes when you're dealing with addiction, like one of the ones like a gaming addiction, is you can't calm down. Like you've got to be stimulated constantly, right? So you need to enhance those restful moments. Serenity is one of the greatest things for that. And again, we're writing these blogs, and sometimes you think really fast, and I obviously miss Serenity. That would be my number one go-to. But and Shinrin Roku is
Yeah,
another one that
that's what I
is a
was
super good one that again I left off the list. Sandalwood. I also left off cedarwood from the list. Those tree oils that are grounding and going to help calm the central nervous system. Super good for that. Now, if your addiction causes you to just be lethargic or have low energy, then those citrus oils that are going to uplift and help the body, eucalyptus, cinnamon, holy basil, which is also known as tulsi, rosemary, lemon, and peppermint, and spearmint. And so, one of the things that we love to do, and again, only with doTERRA essential oils, because I've seen this go wrong, is to put a drop of a mint oil. So for energizing in this case for addictive behaviors, it'd be a drop of spearmint with or peppermint with a drop of either that lemon or with wild orange. And so one citrus, one mint, rub them together and just breathe them in, and then take what's left and rub on the back of the neck or across the chest. Now, the other caveat with that, citrus oils can make us more photosensitive. So put it where it's not going to be in the sun, do it at night, or do it underneath the clothing. Okay. So now, Renee, I kind of want to, we went through the essential oils. I want to take them through some of the things we do for mindfulness, because a lot of addiction recovery or addiction support, the addictive process is being mindful of our actions.
So one of the things that you and I do pretty much on the daily, right? So things that we do is making sure that you have a routine. So we help people set up routines, getting up, having meditation, working through their strengths. Like knowing your strengths is one of those things that can help you, especially if you are dealing with any sort of addiction, because then you can lean on your strengths. I do something called a holistic alignment, which is a combination of all the different things that I do. So I was working with a client this morning, and sometimes when you're doing emotion code, so I do emotion code, you do emotion code, body code, and belief code, um, which is like the next several steps. I do um, I'm a board certified hypnotherapist, and so we each have different modalities, and I take all of those modalities, and I know you do similar, where we create um, a space where we can work with our clients in the way that works for them. So I love to combine strengths and emotion code, hypnotherapy, essential oils, and mindfulness. So after when her body said, nope, no more emotion code, I was able to walk her through a guided meditation that, I came up with on the fly. But I also do very specific hypnotherapy recordings where if you are working on something specific, like weight release or sugar release or, some sort of addictive behavior, I can take your strengths and create a very personalized hypnotherapy recording that works only for you. I also have found that everything that I'm doing, especially since last November, has a much stronger faith focus. And so often when you are working through any sort of addiction, you need to lean on a higher power than yourself. So that's another thing. And then also just accountability, making sure that you have an accountability partner that you are talking to on the regular, whether it's through coaching or whether it's through a program. It's really important to have those things in place.
That's
Did I
awesome.
cover them all?
Yeah. And I wanted to talk about creating your victory plan. And I wrote this blog, and then Eddie Villa had an amazing roundtable yesterday that I shared on my Facebook. But he talked about feeling it. What is it going to feel like when you achieve that? And to state that in gratitude. So that is not on my list of my victory plan, but I thought, wow, that is truly a key in this. What would have it looked like if I could have vividly described what it was going to feel like not to be constantly checking my phone when I was bored or distracted? And I love that. So step one is to identify your triggers. What are the things that make you desire that hit, that dopamine rush? Is it boredom? Is it actually an addiction because of the sugar, the caffeine, the whatever chemical, right? Is it work that triggers? Is it um, something from your past that triggers? Is it environmental? And when I say environmental, is your home environment? Is it your work environment? Is it your social circle? Some people, their addiction is triggered by their social circle, right? So much food is around our socialization, or in for some, it's so much alcohol based or vaping now, even, right? So find and identify your triggers is step one. If you don't know what your triggers are, you won't be able to successfully navigate them and avoid them, or find a better way if they happen to be in that space. Clearly, if your home is where you get triggered most, it's going to be hard to change that right up. Then choose the oils from either blog that may support you. Start with one or two. Don't overwhelm your body. You don't want to change one thing for something else that you're relying upon. The goal is to remove the behavior. Then practice mindfulness daily. Just 5 minutes a day of mindfulness, whether that is meditating, prayer, listening to something that's uplifting, that is mindful, not letting yourself get distracted, but for 5 minutes, focusing on something mindful. Then Ronay talked about we release trapped emotions through emotion code, body code, holistic alignment, and belief code. Because so often there are things that are stuck, and that's why we return to the addictive behavior, is we return to what's familiar. And if our coping skill is an addiction, we often return to it because it's familiar, and we need to release whatever is keeping us stuck in that. And then celebrate the small wins and track your progress. So I'm going to go back up, and I would say, as you're identifying your triggers, that's probably where you're going to want to then create your, what is it going to look like when I'm successful? What is it going to look like when I achieve being in control rather than the addiction controlling me? I control my addiction. What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Think of at least 2 to 3 senses, and that will heighten it. And then take it to your higher power. I am so grateful you have helped me achieve. And then your statement, right? I am so grateful you've helped me overcome my need for sugar daily. I feel amazing in my body. I smell the fresh air and I feel happy or joyful or relieved or whatever that is. And if you need help working through some of these feelings, or creating your power statement, find someone that can help you to create some of these victory plans with you. Because then the next thing is having a cheerleader or an accountability partner, or both, right? Even better if your accountability partner can be your biggest cheerleader. Renee, you look like you have something to say.
I do. I do. I don't know if you know who Ed Milet is, but this last weekend I was at something called Life Surge, which is a Christian business thing. It was amazing. And he was talking about his father, who was a alcoholic and a drug addict. And it was really bad, like really just awful things. Just like starting at age 4, he was protecting his mom and sisters, right? Just, but at age 15, he said his dad was a dude. He was a man's man. He had never seen his dad cry. And he was driving in the car and he was crying. And he just said, I'm going to get sober again. And went into a 90-day program, and he came out of it, and he asked his dad, okay, are you sober forever? He goes, I can't promise you that. I can't promise you that I'll never take another drink. He said, but I can promise you one more day and just one more day. So any addiction, like one more day, you can do it for one more day. And then his dad went on from that to help thousands of people to get out from their addictions. And he said, in life, you are most qualified to help those who are who you used to be.
Amen.
Yeah, you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to sit there and feel like, well, I've messed up so many times I can never no, like one day. And he even said sometimes it's 1 hour, it's one more minute. I can hold on for one more minute. And the more you do that, he says you are always just one decision away from greatness. I just wanted
That's,
to share that because I thought it was
uh,
amazing.
I love that. In my blog, just so you know, you don't have to do it all at once. I have a week by week, 6 week, or no, it's 8 weeks, sorry, 8 weeks. Because sometimes we need to start small and give ourselves grace. I know many addiction programs, regardless of what the addiction is, uses the 12-step AA model, right? It's a great model and great things to focus on. Just some quick things is week one is to focus on the foundations and the embodiment, like I talked about before. Start with easy breath work, just breathing. Breathing is significant, right? One of my favorites is the box breathing, where it's 4 to 7 seconds of breathing in, holding for the same amount, whether it's 4 to 7 seconds, and then you hold, and then you breathe out for 4 to 7 seconds, hold, and it's a box, right? And this counts as your mindfulness because you actually have to count and think. Being gentle with yourself, going for walks, doing light yoga. So that's your first week is identifying your triggers and setting goals. Your second week is breathing as a reset. Now, did you guys know that sighing ugh, can help reset your mood? It is a release. And we don't actually, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes we were told not to do that, which stopped us from our body actually self regulating. So I want you guys all to just breathe in and then you're going to sigh. And it might feel funny to start with, right? I see Ronay kind of giggling as she does it. But if you were to do that a few times a day, your body's going to start to feel better and be able to do some of those things for self regulation. Many of us were also taught not to cry or not to show emotion. You're fine. Don't talk about it. You're fine. Or don't be such a baby. Or any number of things that we were told that don't allow us to self regulate. These lack of self regulation is sometimes the cause of addiction. So that's week two. Like, how easy is these steps, right?
Can I share something super funny? Just
Yes.
because today I was working with a client and we're doing strengths, and I was sharing the difference between her empathy that's in her top five and my empathy. So her empathy is 3 and mine is 2. And when I do this, I put up both reports and I have them read their part and then my part. But I'm only laughing because it says, driven by your talents, this is mine. You resist being moved to tears, especially when others can see them. You really wish you did a better job of containing your emotions. That is a learned behavior, but it is
Yes,
so learned, it is like in my DNA.
exactly. And it is in our culture, it is in every fiber, right?
Hmm.
So sometimes I love that you brought in strengths, right? Sometimes it's learning who we uniquely are so that we can see that, oh, I am avoiding living my true self by doing XYZ, right? So week 4 is adding in the aromatherapy and the emotional anchoring, which Rone, remind us of how aromatherapy works.
I already did, but we'll do it again. So it
Yes.
works with your amygdala. Your amygdala is your emotional center. You have two of them, one for each side of the brain. They're about the size and shape of almonds. Fastest way to your emotional center is through your olfactory senses. You breathe it in, goes to your amygdala, down your pituitary, your thyroid, your parathyroid, your hypothalamus, and your whole limbic system goes. Do you see how I stressed you out? Because I could barely breathe. And that's what happens so often. We are so stressed out, we don't breathe. But this lets you to it lets you breathe. It brings the it that's why I dropped Laura Jacobs talking about this because you need an exogenous messenger, something coming from the outside in to stop the cycle and to let your body just breathe. And breathe oil is amazing for that, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to find your happy place oil. Happy place oils are always good, but breathe literally was designed to help you breathe mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yes,
Good
totally.
stuff.
So it's creating your personal craving blend. It's going through some of the things that we have given you, but you can also search, and what you want to search, the words you want to search are research backed, peer reviewed essential oils to support and then put in whatever your addiction is. The reason why you want to put research back peer review is it means that those have actually been studied and had consistent results supporting that specific thing. So next, you guys, we teach an entire class on this is movement. Week 5 is moving. Getting your body moving is key. But this is more about the gentle movements, yoga, dance, mindful walking, and it's creating those movements that support mood regulation. 5 to 10 minutes, couple times throughout the day to support the mood and help healthy habits, kind of like Rone and I talked about before. And what this plan is doing is it's habit stacking, which I know we've talked about in previous classes. You get one habit down and you stack the next top. Doesn't mean you stop the one you'd already done. You keep putting these habits on top of each other.
As you were talking about like your 5 minutes of mindfulness, I so wanted to jump in and say, and you should do that standing outside so you're grounding at the same time, so you're habit stacking
There
with
you
the
go.
oil that you're breathing.
Exactly. Okay. So then week 7 is your daily toolkit, your habit stacking, creating your plan, and then sharing your plan with your small group, your cheerleaders, your support team, right? If you share it with someone, you're more likely to do it because you've told somebody. So then they might check on you. I would definitely tell them to check on you as well. Accountability, right? Then week 8 is maintenance. It's reflecting on what worked. It's reviewing your personal recovery plan and making adjustments to help you move forward. So we've given you a lot of information. You are not alone. There are lots of resources for supporting you in overcoming whatever it is that you are stuck on or that you seek to avoid living your best life. Jared and Rone, any final thoughts?
I'm just going to pop in real quick. First off, I have learned so much just listening to you two today and going through this. I'm always fascinated to see and understand better how these things interact in the body, how they show up. It's chemistry at its base, and it's interesting how these things all show up. I know for forever, this was my drug of choice. And Dr. Pepper was my go-to, and I haven't had it. I mean, I have this can because I texted one of my daughters and said, "Bring me a can." There are people in my house that have it, and I haven't had one of these in 4 years, and it has made a huge difference. And so, yes, it's absolutely habit stacking, starting small and make little life changes and figure some things out. And you see how this chemistry builds and it changes over time. And our bodies are constantly evolving, growing, changing. There's a study in epigenetics called Pottinger's cats. And I don't know if you've either heard of this study before, but it's interesting as they looked at what happened to a group when they were deprived of vitamin K. And these cats, over a period of time, started to go blind. And it was tragic. I don't support their methods for doing this, but it was interesting to be able to see how, just one simple thing, one simple shift made a change. In this instance, it was for the negative. And within generations, these cats were completely blind. And so what they did is they went in and they reversed that. They started supplementing that vitamin K into these cats' diets. And within a few generations, these cats could see again. There are things that happen in the world around us, the things that we're exposing ourselves to. If we're making wise choices, making the best choices that we can, becoming educated, figuring out those things that make a difference for us, it's phenomenal what we can do. And I just will leave you with this last thought from me. I'm a big mindfulness guy. I grew up with that. That was my go-to. My teddy bear when I was little was an executive teddy bear. You pulled a little string on the back and it said, "You're a winner, Teddy knows." And I thought, okay, that's absolutely true. What we believe, what we think, what we are putting ourselves into is the reality that we start to create. And so being mindful and making sure that we're figuring out what life it is that we want to have and create, it plays a big part in all of this. And I know it's something that we can all do. And like Leanne said, we're not alone. We have a community, we have a family here, and we are so grateful for the opportunity to come to you guys and share and learn together.
Perfect. So I redropped the handouts in the last link. It's the link to my blog, to Rone's blog, and also the video from Laura Jacobs. Rone, any parting thoughts?
I think we kind of said it all. I just wanted to reiterate that, yeah, we're not alone. And I think for me, because I've been working so hard, my book is like headed to the publisher this week, which I'm so excited. But Christ is there, like he's there for you. And I know that this is whatever your highest power is, lean on him, right? For me, I've got God on my side, right? So lean into that, lean into the people who are around you. And like Ed Milet said, now I gotta go back and look at it because it's just so profound. You are most qualified to help those who used to be who you were, or who are who you used to be, right? So help and be that shining light for someone else. And if you're not in that position, hold on one more day. You've got this.
I love that. The key is believing in yourself, regardless of what the world is telling you.
Yeah.
You are worth it. You are worth the time to overcome whatever it is that's your vice and be victorious. And we're here to help you. Reach out for support. And thank you for joining us. We're going to stop the recording and do Q&A for those that are live.